It is now, once again, my privilege to announce the winner of the Heisman Trophy, the 53rd Annual Heisman Memorial Trophy. He is Tim Brown of Notre Dame.
I think I wasn't nervous. I think you should take a closer look. But I think it goes without saying, but I am truly honored to be standing before you today. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my coaches and my teammates. And I definitely have to thank my family for sticking by me through the bad times and the good times. God bless you all. Thank you very much.
The Raiders with the next selection. There they are on the special helmet phone. And
that's Al Davis's brother, Jerry.
Yeah.
No, really.
Is it?
Yeah, the guy in the white jacket is Al's brother.
Well, are they talking about a trade? No.
Well, I talked to him before. He said no trade. And I said Tim Brown was the guy that I thought they'd pick. And he said no, they don't need a receiver. They seem to think that Mervin Fernandez can play. They're the only ones that do. They said defensive back if available or offensive lineman. I still think Tim Brown.
And here go the Raiders.
Raiders select on the first round, wide receiver, Notre Dame,
Yep.
Tim Brown.
Yep. Like we said,
Next
Al
up, Green Bay
likes
Packers.
to collect Heisman Trophy winners. You had Marcus Allen, and we didn't mean to cut Andrew off so quickly because, you know, we're kind of getting hungry. It looks like there were some good things in the kitchen. Tim Brown, so he certainly doesn't plummet very far. And so the Raiders, they have their receivers. They have Lofton and Fernandez, but I guess the man can return kicks, he can return punts, and he's a heck of a player. So Tim Brown, the Heisman Trophy winner, goes to the Los Angeles Raiders. And just thinking of, well, let's look at Tim Brown, and of course you know what he's done. People questioned the last half of the college football season. They were kind of down on him, but I think down because, gee, should he win the Heisman Trophy? So we should qualify, how down are you on him? Now, he never did have the benefit of a classic drop-back
Quarterback.
pro-style quarterback.
How many college wide receivers do?
Not too many, of course, at Miami. They play in the pro set more.
Yeah, well, that's one school.
Well, I came up with one off the top of my head.
Okay.
Brown University and Columbia, of course, also have those, but that's another story.
Columbia has a classic major.
So Tim Brown returns the punts, returns the kicks, and as we all remember, the Monday night game in which the Rams came out of nowhere when Ron Brown was doing the returning. You can change a game right away with just kick and punt returning, and he rates to a 19-2, and quickness, you can't be any higher.
Represent my fucking clique on every song. Way back in 88, niggas did not know. In 1995 would be some all-time pros. Cause I seen what you motherfuckers trying to see. And I done been where you motherfuckers trying to be. This shows with big names and we collected our paper. Some of them niggas was cool and some of them was some fakers. See, I know where it's coming from, evil lurks in his eyes. See, they smile in your face, but they really wish you would die. Niggas smoke too much fries.
All came down to how much upfront money Chiefs weren't willing to pay. George on first down throws to Brown, and he gets taken down after a gain of 5. The tackle is made by Anthony Davis. First down from the 44, Harvey Williams, now a tight end, was the man in motion, and Jeff George flings it and it's caught by Brown. And Tim Brown with a big gain to the 30-yard line of Kansas City.
Jeff George had all sorts of time to survey the field. Tim Brown had all sorts of time to do an out and then up. And Frank, this was a 6-second pass.
And he caught him. It was a good read. He caught him working against the safety, Reggie Tongue. They had help underneath, but it wasn't enough. With the accuracy of a Jeff George, you cannot cover a receiver this way.
0 for his last 5 after he was 4 for 4, and Jeff throws, and it's caught up at the 19 by Tim Brown. Very close to a first down.
Talked to Tom Flores before the game, a former Raider quarterback. Look at this. He just flipped this off balance. about to get hit. But Flores says he agrees with me. He's never seen an arm like this.
2nd and 10. 2:45 left in the half. George throws. That's caught, and forward progress should be a first down, caught by Brown, who was across the 35 to the 36-yard line. That should move the 6.
Of course, with the unfortunate injury to Jerry Rice, the Bay area now belongs to Tim Brown when it comes to catching the football.
First down at the 35. George throws, and it's caught at the 45 by Brown, and Timmy takes it to the 41-yard line, tackled by Jerome Woods. 24-yard pickup, and we come to the 2-minute warning. 2nd down and 10 at the 41-yard line, and that is caught by Tim Brown. 2nd down and 9. George flings it over the middle to a wide-open Timmy Brown. Brown is run out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
And Ricky Dudley came back and just put one on Reggie Tongue. This is a big man to be coming back upfield and putting a pounding on somebody.
And I don't think Reggie Tongue will forget that.
No.
Reggie Tongue will be covering Ricky Dudley for a lot of years, the way things are shaping up for these two teams.
Watch there. There's Dudley. What a shot he puts on Tongue.
The roar was the fans here at Oakland Alameda County Stadium saw that hit.
End of 3. Oakland 27, Kansas City 22. Monday Night Football back after this from our local stations. Fourth quarter starts in Oakland. First down for the Raiders from their 35-yard line. They lead by 5, and Tim Brown begins the period making a catch and forced out of bounds by Terry Wooden after a gain of about 6. George throws, and it's Tim Brown making the catch up to the 20-yard line, and that's a first down. He's tackled there by Donnie Edwards. First down, 9:40 remaining in the fourth quarter. Oakland leading by 5, and Jeff George fakes the give, throws, Brown again to the 32-yard line. Amazing. Everybody in the ballpark knows that 81 is the primary receiver, and last week 3 touchdown catches. As you look at Perkins, and tonight that's 10 catches for Tim Brown.
Well, James Hasty put in the really difficult position of being locked up man-on-man with Tim Brown all the way across the field. He's in a trail position to start with, and there's no way he's going to catch up. The ball's right there. Hasty has absolutely no chance to make a play on that football.
And how many times have we seen that pattern, too?
Tim Brown with 10 receptions, the Raider record.
Second down and 14. George runs to Tim Brown. A big play, a loose ball, but they're going to say it's Oakland's ball. The ground caused the fumble. He gets hit by Reggie Tongue. The play is over. Oakland ball.
11 receptions now, 155 yards for Tim Brown. One away from the Raider record.
First catch of the day, covers 12 or 13 yards and a Raider first down. William White covering, but Brown breaking inside, getting free. And George nailing him for 13 yards.
Maybe I'd stay low or maybe a screen pass.
Tim Brown, 11 yards and a first down. 4 receivers, 3 of them bottom of the screen. Tim Brown in the slot. George, Brown wide open center of the field to the 25-yard line. They got one timeout left. And they, with 5 seconds remaining, Jeff George connecting on 34 yards to Tim Brown, and it has put them in field goal position for the last play of the half.
And I think he caught the Atlanta Falcons by surprise. They thought Jeff George was going to step up in the pocket and throw a Hail Mary, but what they did wrong, they left the middle of the field wide open, and when you have a receiver like Tim Brown, things like that can happen. There it is, wide open in the middle of the field. Big play, timeout. Jeff George checking off here. He sees something he likes.
Short drop, complete. Tim Brown has the first down across midfield. William White forced him out of bounds. Well, Biletnikoff, the receivers coach of the Raiders, is the all-time leader, but Tim Brown is breathing down his neck and has a chance to pass him this season. There's Fred Biletnikoff, the great one. And Tim Brown, who, if he stays healthy, has a good chance to surpass him as the Raiders' all-time leader.
I'm joined by Timmy Brown of the Raiders. Timmy, it sounds odd to say, but week 4, this is now a must-win situation for the Raiders, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, it's an opportunity for us to get back at 500 and start the season anew, so it's a big game for us.
Jett and Brown, the wide receivers, and Ricky Dudley, the big tight end. This goes to Tim Brown, and Brown comes out with a first catch and a 14-yard gain. Victor Green, the Jets safety, makes the tackle, first down, just shy of the 45. Only Kaufman behind George, and that's Harvey Williams playing tight end. George, a quick throw, complete to Brown again, and he ducks out of bounds close to a first down at the Jets' 46-yard line. Aaron Glenn, the corner.
Well, there's a matchup you're going to see all day. Tim Brown against Aaron Glenn. The Jets say Jeff George loves to look for Tim Brown. I would too if you have a guy this good. Look for him in the passing game. His first 3 throws, all to Tim Brown.
Brown from Notre Dame, former Heisman winner, has 2 catches to boost his season total to 25 already. Add the 2 to the on 3rd and 8, underneath to Brown. Who else? Even though you know they're going to go to Tim Brown, they can't seem to stop it.
I'll tell you, Aaron Glenn is really upset, and I think he's looking for some help on the inside, because if you take a look at Tim Brown coming off, he goes into Glenn, and then it's a quick break off.
Now, I'll tell you what he's upset about. He's right there. He expects to make the play. Paul, that defense, there's nobody to help him. It's man coverage. He has Tim Brown all over the field.
3 catches today for 26. The rest of the team with 29. So he is a one-man receiving team. George to Brown, and this time short of the first down. Tackled shy of the 25 by Victor Green, and it'll bring up 4th down and a long 1.
That means he's getting a little too much time.
6 yards on the play. They needed 5 for the first down.
Wide open.
Going for 6, and he's wide open. Tim Brown. 29-yard touchdown, and George has thrown his 2nd touchdown pass of this opening half.
Tim Brown, 81, against Otis Smith. Man coverage, just a nice little subtle move, and he breaks back to the inside. It's man coverage. Jeff George knows he has Tim Brown one-on-one. Get things moving, get the offense in some rhythm.
George with 9 in a row. 10 to Tim Brown. 10 straight completions as Brown hauls it in at the Jets 17.
The wind must have stopped blowing. You know what I mean? You get the whole thing on the wind, how it affects them.
Well, this is a case in point. The Jets, they have a defender under, a defender over, but you cannot stop a good throw, a perfect throw, and a good catch.
Ray Mickens was the man underneath. Tim Brown piling up another big day in the first half. Already 6 catches, 91 yards. That's Fenner, the fullback, in motion. And the quick throw to Tim Brown. And Brown has another. Aaron Glenn gets him out of bounds after a gain of around 6.
Not bad. Catch a few passes from those guys.
Jeff George throws underneath to Brown, and Brown open again. First down at the 34. Pickup of 14. Jerome Henderson, the tackler.
Same play they opened the game up with. Jeff George, little fake run, tosses it. Tim Brown coming all the way across the field, and look where the linebackers are. Nobody underneath him. Gives Jeff George a clear lane, can throw the ball right in there.
You're going to have to blitz him if you're going to put some pressure on George. You're not going to do it with the 3-down lineman.
12 minutes plus left in this 4th quarter as George goes downfield to Tim Brown. Well, that just seems automatic. Brown all alone again. Only 4 total the first 3 games. George underneath. Juggling catch, Tim Brown. Another first down at the 37.
You want to know why Tim Brown is so good? Well, I mean, he's got great hands and speed and all the other things that happen. But it's what he does with the ball after he catches it. And the most important thing is when he throws the ball, watch, he makes sure he catches it. He bobbles it. Now he's got it. Watch this move. He makes another move and makes Pepper Johnson, the linebacker, miss him to pick up another 6 yards. That's Tim Brown.
Brown, another bold print game. 10 catches, 153 yards and a touchdown.
He's also coming off a touchdown pass from the 42. Actually, one interception was called back because of the penalties. Just one interception today by George. First and 10 pass caught by Tim Brown for the first time today. At the 25-yard line, picks up 18 yards, and Tim Brown, who leads the NFL in receptions with 33, makes his 34th right there.
Going to come off that right side, but he's got an arm. In the first grade, he could throw the ball farther. Well, that surprised me. How much time that took?
Out of bounds at the 37-yard line.
That took guts. Look at the corners. It's the first time Todd Light got off. He got off, and look what happens. There goes the ball.
Third catch today by Tim Brown, who came into this afternoon's game as the leading receiver in the NFL. Todd Light makes the catch. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
Todd Light was pitching a shutout on a full press bump and one run. Now he walks off. He walks off 6-7 yards, and there's the hitch. Both teams are doing the same thing when the corner gets off, throwing the hitch. It looks like a mirror, offensively and defensively, these two clubs.
Won the Heisman at Notre Dame.
As a wideout, that's hard to do. Most of the time that Heisman goes to that running back.
Dudley was in motion. George throws, and it's Tim Brown. When he gets in the open field, he can be dangerous. And he takes it to the 36. Finally tackled by Todd Light. That's the biggest play by Brown today. Good for 24 yards.
And again, that's what you have to do when you're in the dirt. Drop back, throw the ball. Brown is 81. And one thing they don't do much, they caught him in a zone. And you can see that was not Todd Light. Todd Light had the outside third, so he turned it over. And he was expecting somebody from the inside, one of the safeties, to take that play. That was not Todd Light.
The explosive Raider offense features Jeff George, Napoleon Kaufman, and all-pro wide receiver Tim Brown, who leads the NFL in receiving yards and is tied for the league lead in receptions. Here's Brown with Jim Gray.
Timmy, there was a time here when you really didn't see eye to eye with the front office. In fact, for a number of years, you and Al Davis really didn't get along too well. Then a couple of years ago, after Art Shell was let go, things kind of came together after a meeting. What changed the context of your relationship, and what transpired in that meeting?
Well, you know, I think the one thing I wanted to get over to Mr. Davis was the fact that, number one, I cared about the team, and this wasn't a Tim Brown venting situation. Whatever the differences were, I went down my list. I went in there with a legal pad of 21 things I outlined, and I sort of went down my list of things I didn't understand what happened around here, from Marcus to Steve Berline to other situations that may have occurred. And he explained to me the best he could everything that he needed to explain. Some things he said, you don't need to know, and I said, okay, and that was basically it. So, and from that time henceforth, you know, anytime I had a problem, anytime I had a concern, I felt free to call, and they felt free to call me on certain instances too. So I think the relationship is totally different now. I think there's more trust now than there was maybe in the past, and you know, in any relationship, if there's no trust, it's not going to succeed.
Seems to have gone from the point of having absolutely no trust in you to this summer now. I understand that every move that the organization made regarding players, you were consulted. Is that accurate?
Well, I was called on. I don't think there was a player that was brought here that they didn't call me about. Of course, at Heisman, they wanted to know how I felt about that. I was, you know, can you bring him here 3 years ago? Can we go back in time and do that? Of course, Jeff George and Eric Turner. But, you know, a couple guys who were let go, I was called about also.
Do you want to have that role insofar as being consulted? Because it's kind of a double-edged sword insofar as one of your teammates may come after you and say, hey, the only reason I'm not here or not getting playing time is because Timmy Brown says so.
Well, you know, I hope no one would ever say that, because I would definitely try and stay out of that situation. But at the same time, if I'm going to speak, I always try and speak from the point of view of the team. You know, if Tim Brown spoke with Tim Brown all the time, then, you know, this would be a totally different team. But I can't speak for myself all the time. And if a guy's bad in our locker room, then he needs to be out of our locker room.
And did you tell the Raiders in some cases, this guy shouldn't be here, he's bad in our locker room?
I've made comments like that. Yes, I have before. And not saying that those guys, some of those guys are still here though. So the funny thing is, I get blamed for everything that happens around here anyway, and I get the credit for everything. If we get a shorter day of practice, everybody, thank you, Tim, thank you. If we get a longer day of practice, Tim, what did you do? You know, it's that type of deal. So, you know, it goes with the territory at this particular point, and I'm going to get the praise, and get stabbed, you know, at the appropriate times.
To the 30-yard line to Tim Brown. Michael Swift, extra defensive back, makes the tackle. George to the sideline to Tim Brown. And he's tackled by Dwayne Harper. Still time for 2-point plays, and tried the old was that they're going to fake spike?
Fake spike. He was making the signal that we're going to spike the ball, but he tried to fake it. Defense wasn't biting into that.
Certainly here in Oakland. Rushing and stopping the rush. Jeff George, wide open. Tim Brown makes a diving reception. It'll be a Raider first down at their own 48-yard line, and that's vintage Tim Brown as George rifled it to him.
And that is also vintage Jeff George. I mean, this guy's body's completely open. Look at where he lays this rope. Nice catch by Tim Brown, but Jeff George is getting pressure. He moves. You know, if you're a young quarterback out there, that's not exactly the way those quarterback coaches teach you to throw the ball, but you know, you've got two of the strongest arms in the entire league in the last 10 years in these two quarterbacks here today.
And Brown made him look good with a diving reception.
You're looking at this situation the way it is right here. 3rd, 10. You get a first down here, the game is over. You don't get a first down here.
What are they doing? They've got 12 seconds on the play clock here. He snapped the ball with 10 seconds on the play clock. Pass, caught, first down. Tim Brown, only his 2nd reception of the game.
And a mocking back at you salute after that catch by Tim Brown. You're absolutely right. 10 seconds left on the play clock. Jeff George didn't need to snap it, but he did. And he's got Tim Brown on a low and away fastball, looking for the strike call, and he gets it. And just to rub it in a little bit, I got you salute right here.
Tony Dungy with Tampa Bay and Bill Parcells with the Giants, or with the Jets, and my pick would be Jim Fossil. I'd vote for him.
He's done a terrific job. They were leading the last we checked. Here is a throw to Tim Brown, his first catch of the day. The all-pro receiver who has been brilliant season after season. That was his 43rd catch of this year, knocked out of bounds by Darrell Williams.
There's Tim Brown right there. Now, one of the things that Jeff George told us yesterday, he says, because we ran the ball so effectively last week against Denver, we feel that the Seahawks will really be playing the run on defense. So what we're going to do is use more play-action passes where we fake a run to the running back and then throw the football, and that's what they did there.
Jeff George, play fakes. He throws and gets an open man. Look at the catch by Tim Brown. Darrell Williams drilled him, but Brown, going high in the air, comes down with the ball. He was a tremendous high school basketball player, Tim Brown, in Dallas.
Again, the Raiders are using that play-action pass to hold those linebackers. Now, George gets it up a little bit too high, and anytime you get that ball up too high, your receivers, when he goes up for the ball, you expose him to the great hit there that he got from Darrell Williams.
Only the guys with the great hearts go up and take those in the teeth of the defense. He knew he was going to get popped. Tim Brown, the Heisman Trophy winner from Notre Dame, now an all-pro receiver for the Raiders as they hold to a 14-6 lead. George again play faking. Downfield he goes. Tim Brown again running free in the secondary, and he's all the way out to midfield. A gain on the play of 17 yards and a first down.
Well, what the Seahawks are doing, you're going to see one of their defensive backs come up in the box right there, Benny Blaze. Now, he's up there to play the run. So when they do that play-action fake and fake the run, it draws him up into the line of scrimmage along with the linebackers, and it frees up that intermediate zone area there for Brown to make the catch.
They have that one open deep play that George a bit overthrew to Jet. He's looking deep right now. He throws down the field and hits Tim Brown. And Brown is on the run all the way out to the 48-yard line. So they do, as the Raiders call it, go over the top. The vertical offense.
A big gainer out to the 48-yard line.
Again, George is going to fake the run to Kaufman, and then he's going to hit number 81, Tim Brown, on a crossing route right there. As I mentioned earlier, when you fake the run, it makes those linebackers step up into the line of scrimmage, and it really opens up that intermediate area for a crossing route as Brown ran.
Nothing to it, coach. The guy just has to kick it with his heel, and I've got it. Jeff George takes a look in the end zone, fires, got a man! Tim Brown. George, just before he went down, lost the ball, and Tim Brown is there to take it in, and the Raiders, on a spectacular defensive play, have gone in front now 25-18.
That's an excellent throw by Jeff George, because he was getting hit and was going down when he threw the football. Good pressure there from the two defensive tackles. Sam Adams, number 98, putting a good hit on George. I don't think George even saw the receiver. He just threw it up there. Tim Brown gets open there in the middle, gets behind those defenders. Good play by Jeff George.
If in doubt, that's a good place to go, to number 81.
He's the guy he looks for down there. You know, we asked him yesterday, we said, hey, don't you kind of look for your tight end down there in the red zone? He says, heck no. The guy I always look for, no matter where the ball is Tim Brown. He says, I look for him first. If he's covered, then I'll go to somebody else.
People forget that Tim Brown, the Heisman Trophy winner at Notre Dame in '87, caught only one pass in '89. He went down with a knee injury that required major surgery. Now he's come back to have a series of years that have been some of the greatest in modern football history for a receiver. Every year he delivers the goods.
And I think this year with Jeff George as the quarterback, I think it might turn out to be, if the Raiders continue to win, I think it might turn out to be Tim Brown's most productive year, because he's got a quarterback now that can really get the ball to him and wants to get the ball to him.
And we're ready for more big plays. We've had them all afternoon as Jeff George and the Raiders down by one. George with a great fake, fires the ball downfield. Tim Brown with another spectacular catch. High in the air, he brings it in, takes the hit, and it's a first down for the Raiders.
They're staying with the play action fake and throwing the football on first down. They put Brown in motion. He comes across the field. They got Benny Blades, the strong safety, manned up on him. That's a little bit of a mismatch. Brown beats Blades. Blades makes a good physical tackle, though.
Jeff George dumps it off to Tim Brown. Looking for somewhere to go. He dives out to the 25-yard line as the Raiders, now powerless to stop the clock, are out of timeouts. And that could do it. Jeff George, another quick look to Tim Brown. Fighting till the end.
He's the best football player I've ever coached. I've been coaching for 37 years. He's a coach's dream.
How's that for a recommendation? Here's a throw to Tim Brown, beautifully threaded in by Jeff George just before he took a hard hit. And the gain is upfield for 16 yards and a Raider first down.
They're getting there with the four-man rush. They don't need to zone blitz at this point.
Tim Brown, he said, come to me with the ball. Joe Bugel said, we're good listeners as coaches when your great players tell you what is going to work. Rating of over 102, 18 touchdowns, just 4 interceptions, but now he's forced to throw. They give him time. He makes a connection. Look at Tim Brown break into open field. And on 2nd and 10, Tim Brown breaks a gain of 30 yards on the play.
What happens in this play is Tim Brown comes in motion, and he's going to run a crossing route. Number 51, Sam Mills, you'll see him right there getting his hands on Brown. Sam has got to stay inside of Brown there. He can't let Brown get inside of him. That time Brown got inside position for the completion.
Happiness on the Carolina bench. Winners tell jokes, losers say deal. And Jeff George has got to deal it downfield now. He's getting time. He throws it all. What a beautiful throw to Tim Brown. Brown says, come to me with the ball, and that is what Jeff George is doing, a 15-yard gain.
The Raider offensive line is doing a good job of picking up the blitz, giving time for George and getting time for Tim Brown to get open. When you can protect and when you can block the zone blitz, you're going to find open receivers.
In the first half, more than they had in the previous 8 games. Combined, here is Jeff George, a hard throw, and Tim Brown goes low to the ground and makes the catch for an 11-yard gain and a first down. Toy Cook was right on him, but the ball was right where it needed to be.
The Raiders are in a hurry-up offense right now. They're not huddling. They've got less than a minute to go in the half. trying to hit Brown again.
Tim Brown with a 10-yard gain. Game clock, as you see, ticking down to 32 seconds to play and stopped. Tim Brown putting up some big numbers today. He has caught 5 passes so far today for 76 yards. 54 receptions for the season.
Well, if the Panthers are going to double any one receiver in that Raider offense, it's got to be number 81, Tim Brown. And they kind of mix up their coverage right there. Number 37, Chad Cota. They're playing a zone coverage, but Chad Cota has got to cover the guy in that hook zone. He's pretty close to Brown, but not close enough. Now, what they want to do right here, they don't want to give up the long play. There's only 32 seconds left in the half. The ball's on the 50-yard line. Let them have the short ones and make the tackle. Don't give up the big play or the easy touchdown at this point. Stay deep in your coverage. That's what you got to do. Keep all the receivers in front of you. Let them catch it. If they are going to catch it for a short gain, come up and make a good tackle.
Tim Brown, it was interesting how Joe Bugle talked about him. He said the great ones like Brown have a confidence that almost borders on an arrogance that you have to like. He doesn't say a lot, Tim Brown, Bugle said, but when he talks, everybody listens. Tim Brown is the slot back, second back down from the top. Jeff George stands in. He gets some time. He throws an out pattern to Tim Brown, and there's still a second left on the clock. So nicely done by the Raiders, a 10-yard gain. Tim Brown with his 6th catch of the day.
Well, maybe that's why I'm not coaching anymore.
Jeff George takes a look. He lofts the ball down to Tim Brown, who makes the catch inside the 20. And Tim Brown is all the way down to the 10-yard line on a sensational throw-catch play. Good for a 42-yard gain.
Well, the Raiders need to get some big plays, and you're going to see Tim Brown at the bottom of your screen working on Eric Davis. He makes a little stutter step there and beats Davis to the inside. Well-thrown ball. Davis has got to stay back there. He makes a poor decision to try to go in front of Brown and knock down the football. He's got to stay back and play the ball better.
We asked Davis yesterday how he defends against all the speed receivers. He said they're not as fast. They have a hand in their chest. He didn't want to hear any more about this stuff. I came from another system.
Right.
He said, well, you're in this system now. Play it. Third down and 12. Here's Jeff George standing up, firing to Tim Brown. And he's down to the 33-yard line. Tim Brown, I'll tell you, he's magnificent week after week.
He sure is. And the key here is the fact that the Raiders, and they haven't done a lot right today, but they have done a good job of blocking the zone blitzes. Their offensive line, their backs are tight in. When you block those zone blitzes, you give your quarterback time. You're going to find a hole there in that zone coverage because you're covering zone with less defenders than you normally do. And you're going to find an open spot, and they're doing that. And the key goes back to the protection.
Now Jeff George, his team down 31-14, has to start pitching again. Here comes a blitz. They pick it up. Pump faking. George takes a look. He gets a man, a beautifully thrown ball. And again, it is Tim Brown coming across the middle for a 12-yard gain and a first down. Tim Brown, 9 receptions for 155 yards, but not nearly enough. Here's another catch by Tim Brown. His 10th catch of the day. He has 59 for the season through 9 games.
Second down and 10 as Napoleon Kaufman was held to no gain on that first play. He'll get it again on the play fake, and Jeff George comes to the near side, and wide open is Tim Brown on the crossing route, and Brown gets it all the way out to the 35-yard line before he was forced out of bounds by Sammy Knight. Good pickup of 20 yards on the play for the Raiders.
Tim Brown ran a long ways to catch that pass, and this is what the Raiders are good at doing. They pick up yardage in big gouges. They need to make sure they pick up yardage in little gouges too, because you score a lot of points when you can move the ball that fast. So here comes Tim Brown. He comes across and he runs a long ways to catch that ball. But one thing that he's exceptional at is getting in between the zone, finding the open spot, which is what he did right there.
That was the Pro Bowler's 45th first down reception of the year. And here's another. Brown diving up toward the 45-yard line. He'll be about a yard short of the first down there. James Jett or even Tim Brown deep down the field. He has hit Dudley down the seam. See what he does on second down. He hits Tim Brown on. Brown gets out close to first down yardage, right at midfield before he is brought down. Alex Molden making the tackle there, but Tim Brown has another catch, and it'll be very close.
Tim Brown in motion here. He's a fearless guy. He makes most of his catches over the middle, but look at Dudley right there. Pick off the linebacker Fields, and whoops, he's supposed to jump all over Brown, but he gets bumped off by the tight end Dudley, and so Brown is open to catch that ball. That's not quite legal, but you know what? If you don't get caught, yeah, you can do it.
Coming into the game, just 88 yards short of another 1,000-yard receiving season for him. Came in with the second highest number of catches in the NFL at 59, behind only Herman Moore of the Detroit Lions. And this guy has been steady in a lot of phases of the game for a lot of years for the Raiders, and running routes, catching passes, also returning punts and kickoffs. But of course they got Desmond Howard in here now, so he doesn't have to do so much of that anymore. Both teams with 8 penalties called. Harvey Williams, who lay on the field after the kickoff to the Raiders, back in the game at the fullback spot, and the quick pass comes out to Tim Brown, picks up about 5 yards. 3rd and 10 from their own 46. And the quick hitter to Tim Brown, and Brown is brought down after a very short gain.
Gators and the Bolts from the Big Q.
Mike, Joe, and Jaws on the call, guys.
Chris, on tap tonight, a rivalry that dates back to 1960 in the days of the AFL. The Oakland Raiders and the San Diego Chargers on ESPN Sunday Night NFL.
George with time underneath to Tim Brown. Got away from Sayal and dives for the first down, sticks.
Pass complete to number 81, Kip Brown.
Talked to Jeff George yesterday, and he said that we want to get Tim Brown involved early in this game. We have not the last two, and we feel like it upsets the rhythm of our offense. Here they bring him in motion. Little crossing pattern goes underneath the linebackers. Jeff puts a nice touch throw on it, and then Tim Brown makes the move. Those passes were dropped the last 2 times these teams played. Obviously, it's going to be a different story tonight for Tim.
George with time underneath to Tim Brown, who gets to the 8, about a yard shy of a first down, where Patrick Sapp made the tackle.
Pass complete to number 81 to Tim Brown.
George to throw on first down. Dumps it short for Tim Brown. 3:37 to go in the 3rd quarter here. 3rd and 7 Raiders. Here comes Junior on the blitz. George steps up. Flag is down. Tim Brown would have the first down, but we'll check the marker. And it will be against San Diego.
Desmond Howard is in the game as the extra receiver. George on 3rd and 8 throws, and he hits Tim Brown. So Brown had been the silent man through 20 minutes, and now they go to him twice and pick up the first down here. Darian Gordon makes the stop on Brown's 69th reception of the season. They have to get to the 27 to convert, and they're 5 yards shy. Brown makes the catch. 4th down and 5. Ray Crockett with the tackle. Desmond Howard is in the game, split wide right. George looks left, goes to Brown, makes a one-handed catch, but that's only a 3-yard gain. Vital game for the Vikes. From the 19-yard line, George guns one up to the 29-yard line. It is caught by Tim Brown, despite the coverage of Tyrone Braxton.
He is a very nimble guy, much more so than a lot of people think.
He has a great presence back there. He seems to sense when he's in trouble. He's not all that athletic, as you said, Dan, but he's just a great presence about himself in the pocket.
I noticed the way you left out the Nuggets, at least for the moment.
Well,
from the 20-yard line.
We are working from top to bottom.
Yes, we are. Tim Brown makes the king of the Rockies.
Has he heard back?
No response yet. Flag down. Brown up to the 35-yard line and make their record 10-2. Oakland begins on a 3rd down and 5 with Jeff George throwing, and it is caught inbounds by Tim Brown. A first down up at the 45-yard line. 2nd and 13 from the 25. Brown takes a shot from the rear by
Darius Johnson. One thing about Tim Brown, he'll be back. This guy can take it.
3rd down, 2. George to the sidelines to Tim Brown, and a 1st down. Brown's first catch today, his 77th this year. He's 2nd in the league. Herman Moore, the leader.
Well, it's 3rd and 2, and you're the quarterback. I would expect something short, some type of route inside, but Tim Brown to the outside. Excellent throw by Jeff George. Sam Madison on the coverage.
Tim Brown, the Heisman winner 10 years ago. 2nd down, 10. George pumps, throws over the middle, complete to Brown, just sitting there in the line backing area, and tackled at the 25. It'll be around 3rd and 5. Thomas made the stop. Well, we talked with both Jeff George and Tim Brown yesterday, and the basic theme of it was there just doesn't seem to be a core plan. What did George say? It's like playing an all-star game every week. It's a totally new, different concept.
That's right. We have a new offense every week. Tim Brown, the thing that I got out, he says, hey, I'm a decoy out here. I'm here to get the other receivers open, and we saw that's what he complains about. I catch too many passes short and over the middle.
A 3rd down for George. Going to throw for it, and goes to Brown, and Brown is on his way to the end zone. His first touchdown catch in 9 games. 24 yards on the play.
The blitz has no help deep, so he's expecting Tim Brown to go deep, and this is not fair against a rookie corner. They call that route a fade, which is a long pattern, a fade stop. So when Tim Brown stops and comes back, nobody there to help him out.
You see, the first 4 games, he had 4 touchdowns, and it's hard to believe that a man who catches so many passes could go 8-game drought without a touchdown until today.
I think the big thing is he just wants more plays designed for him. In traffic, knowing the safety was running up.
The 2-handed touch from Turner. Now it's Tim Brown twisting away from the Miami defender, and Brown all the way to the 45, the 49. Derek Rogers finally bringing him down.
You know, there's some days that these two guys have a chemistry, and George and Brown have it today.
Well, that time the Raiders did something they usually don't do. They put Tim Brown to the backside to make sure he's singled up. Usually he stays to the side of the tight end. To the other side, works on a different corner, gets single coverage, and makes a big play.
Schottenheimer and the Chiefs go out and devour the 49ers, only their 2nd loss this year.
Couldn't argue with that selection, that's for sure.
Brown, another catch, tackled immediately by Derek Rogers.
Tim Brown was wide open as soon as he left the line of scrimmage. Nobody was on him, and Jeff George didn't see him because he wasn't the primary target.
14. George sidearms that one. Is it caught? No, he didn't get it inbounds. Yes, they are going to say. And Jimmy Johnson said no.
Fletching Dan Marino out of the pocket, helping create the turnover.
Only the 8th interception all year by the Raider defense. George off play action, and now fires it to Brown at the 35, the 30, and Brown tripped up at the 25-yard line. He was building steam for the goal line.
Boy, you hit that on the head. You talk about firing the ball. I mean, he threw it all this time.
Well, we heard Daryl LaMonica say Jeff George can throw that ball from anywhere, and that's what he does when he's moving around and his feet are shuffling in the pocket. Watch this. He's just going to, sidearm, whips it out there. That's a quality that really no other quarterback in the league has except Brett Favre, being able to throw the ball so hard and accurately from different angles.
7 catches now for Brown. Red Cross especially thankful for Mr. Kennedy as Tim Brown weaving his way through the secondary to the 45-yard line, and Brown continues to rack up big numbers for the Raiders.
2nd down and 10. George throws far side. He is on target. Hasn't had really that many opportunities to throw.
That is Tim Brown's first catch of the day.
Isn't that amazing? That is his 85th on the year. He's NFL in yards and in catches coming into the ballgame.
And Dale Carter, bump and run, man-to-man coverage. But the 2 corners here of Kansas City, James Hasty and Carter, can take receivers out of the game.
Have they taken him out, or have they just not had that many opportunities?
No, they haven't had that many opportunities.
Tim Brown, far side. Top pattern. He knew where he would be. Tim knew where the ball was coming. That may have been his only option. They may have just decided, you go, I'm going to throw it to you, and we'll do it.
Yeah, ball is intentionally underthrown by Jeff George. You see the contact, no pattern. I'm just going to make contact. You underthrow it. I'll turn around, come back, and get the ball, and they do convert the 4th down.
First down now at the Kansas City 40-yard line.
That's Tim Brown's 2nd catch of the day, Charlie.
Needs 3 total yards to become the Raiders' all-time leader over, interestingly enough, Marcus Allen.
The Raiders are in the throes of a dismal season, and that has been compounded now by some real difficult situations among the players and the coaches, as Tim Brown, so upset with the offense and the way it's been going, says he might take it upon himself, Jim, to call plays.
Right, it's not a happy camp at the Raiders. You know, Tim Brown made those remarks last week after the Kansas City game that he was unhappy with the offense, that if things didn't change, he was going to call the plays.
No team has had more tough losses this year than the Arizona Cardinals. Jeff George throws to Tim Brown, and he heads inside the 10-yard line and down to the 6. Gain on the play of almost 8 yards. Tim Brown cutting across the middle, cutting away from a double team. Todd Christensen and Dan McGuire. Jeff George, who was the #1 player picked in the entire draft, fires downfield and hits Tim Brown. What a play. Ball on the field, and the Raiders have it. Now the Seahawks have it. It is going to be, I think, Seattle's ball, but we'll wait and see. Michael Barber is the guy who finally ended up with it. So a spectacular pass play results in a fumble. Rain is stopped. It's been on and off. Game clock under 3 minutes in the first half. Jeff George steps up, makes a throw. Inside the 25-yard line. Beautifully done. A gain of 23 yards on the play.
It looked to me like the Seahawks were in a zone blitz where you rush players, 5 players, and drop 6 into coverage. And as I mentioned earlier, when you drop 6 people, you're going to void a zone. If you've got time, if you protect, if you pick up the rush, you're going to find a guy open. And George found Brown open there for a big pickup there, big game, good pickup by the Raiders.
Tim Brown with 3 catches for 53 yards. He has 89 catches for the season. Jeff George, quick drop, timing throw. He gets the out pattern, makes the connection to Tim Brown, who was taken down, but after a gain of only about a yard. He was quickly hit and knocked down by Willie Williams, the cornerback, and that'll bring up 3rd and short.
They are going to be tested by Brown and Jet this afternoon. 2nd and 10 from the 23. Wide open and across. Tim Brown's got the first down. After the 37. Forced out with the strong safety, Travis Davis.
How many times do you see Tim Brown do this? I mean, any time you ever watch him, he's at the top of your screen coming in motion, and he pretty much waits till the linebackers get their depth, slides underneath, and Jeff George pretty much just that 3-4 yard pass and let Tim Brown run with it.
It's a 2nd and 10 situation. Tim Brown again beats the first man. Gets an extra 3-4 yards, getting away from the linebacker. Broke the tackle of Brad Boyer and takes it out to the 43.
And you talked a little bit, of Joel, about Tim Brown wanting to call his own plays. I think he just realized that in order for their team to be successful, he's got to touch the football. And if you're a coach, you'd almost think that maybe he's right. Maybe we should ask him a few plays that he would like. But I'll put it this way. He needs 3 catches, as you see here, to break the Raider record, and that's impressive in its own.
With a new offensive coordinator this year, Ray Perkins. Former head coach in the NFL, and now a 3rd and 4. No flags on the play. And a first down reception again for Tim Brown. So now he only needs 2 more catches to surpass Fred Biletnikoff's totals. He's the all-time receiving leader here.
You'd almost think that they want to get this out of the way quick. Just get Tim Brown the football, but Jeff George and Tim Brown are almost like best friends, so you know exactly what he's going to be looking at. But you think by now the Jaguars would realize, okay, maybe we need to double cover him.
Showing the blitz. They pick it up. Wide open, Tim Brown. As wide as you will ever find him. With a 34. That's already his 4th grab of the day.
Well, Tom Coughlin told us that they were going to come after Jeff George, but the only thing that they thought they were a little worried about is when you do blitz, you have to cover the outside receivers one-on-one. And when you got Tim Brown running by himself, there has to be a miscue in the secondary.
He needs only one more catch now to overtake Fred Biletnikoff as the all-time reception leader here with the Oakland Raiders. 3rd and 5. Pocket holds up. There's Tim Brown, and there's the catch he was looking for. He is now the all-time reception leader in Oakland Raiders history. He has just surpassed the totals of that gentleman, Fred Biletnikoff. And Jim, as you know, they've had some phenomenal wide receivers wearing the Raiders uniform.
Well, they have, and I'll put it this way. Everybody in the National Football League, every quarterback would love to have number 81 on their football team. A leader in the dressing room, a quality person off the field, and probably one of the best receivers of all time, Tim Brown.
Another look back at the record setter.
And he's best when he's able to move, but just the route that he runs just goes to show that Tim Brown just doesn't have the great speed, but he runs routes to perfection.
590 receptions. Former Heisman Trophy winner in 1987 in his 10th year from Notre Dame. 6 carries, 24 yards now for Kaufman. They show the blitz from the linebacker. George going the other way. Tim Brown right on target for another first down. And with that catch, Tim Brown now has overtaken Todd Christensen for the single-season reception record for the Oakland Raiders. He's got 96 on the season. Christensen had 95.
After records, I know. Tim Brown's one of the smartest receivers. He doesn't take a hit that he does. I mean, you look at a guy coming there, he just goes right down. He takes one anyways right in the back. But Tim Brown knows when he's going to get hit, he's going to either run out of bounds or go down.
2nd and 15, back at the 26. Good protection. Tim Brown again, catch number 7. Little pitch and catch for these two as he settles in at the 34 in front of Deion Figures.
I mean, you're going to get as much cushion as you need. I mean, look at this. That's almost 10 yards. He does come up to a certain point, but Tim Brown's a very smart receiver. He's going to find a hole. Jeff George knows exactly where he's going to be, and they're going to put the football right there. But that's inside the 20, from 20 to 20. They need to put the ball in the end zone.
First down for the Raiders, their own 42. Again, the pocket holding up well. Good footwork by George. Tim Brown wants it. He'll take it and pulls away for good yardage on first down to the midfield stripe. All the way to the 49. Pickup of 9 on first down.
Well, Tim Brown comes in motion. He comes underneath the crossing pattern. Jeff George forced from the pocket, but he's able to know exactly where all of his receivers are. You can see Tim Brown coming in motion, and he's going to let the linebackers get their depth. He's going to find the hole, and he moves with the quarterback, and he knows exactly where he has to be. But again, showing his speed right there, just outrunning Figures and the rest of the guys to the sideline and not taking another hit.
8 grabs for 81 already for 91 yards. 2nd and 6 from the 34. Little play action. Who else? Tim Brown. He's got 10 grabs and he's got another first down to the 24.
Well, he's got a couple records. Why not go for another one?
10 yards.
The one thing he does, he knows exactly what type of defense you're going to play, whether it's man or zone. You see him coming across your screen, and he looks for the hole. As you can see, he's finding out where the defensive backs are, and he stops before he gets there.
The sack is all the way back to the 35. That's a big loss. Now on second, at about 20. The completion inside the 20. Tim Brown, catch number 11. The countdown continues. The free safety finally caught up with him, Chris Hudson.
Well, they're going to have to do something.
It is 3rd and 13 for the Raiders, outside of their own 18. George get time, yes. Grab number 11, produces the first down for Tim Brown and the Raiders. So away from accomplishing that. Tim Brown already passed Fred Biletnikoff, all-time reception leader in Oakland Raider history. George finding some time and finding his favorite target again, Tim Brown. He's got a first down inside the 45 of Jacksonville to the 44. Put down by Brian Schwartz.
Brian Schwartz with the tackle.
Well, again, you see Tim Brown being able to hook up inside the zone, and they're pretty much going to try to play him zone coverage. You see the linebacker moving in, and on the outside it's a deep zone by Figures there. But Tim Brown stops knowing that he has a lot of cushion, and really nobody even close to him. Give him the football, let him get the first down.
And he settles down where he knows he's got the first down, the necessary yardage. First and 10. George in trouble. Hit as he releases it. Brown's there again. Just in time. Nice moves inside the 30 to the 28 by Tim Brown. And George took a pounding at the end of that play. Kevin Hardy on top of the quarterback. 17 yards on the game.
It almost looks like the Jaguars do not have confidence in their defensive backs that they can cover Tim Brown one-on-one, because they're playing a lot of zone coverage, allowing Tim Brown to find some holes in the seams, and Jeff George is finding him. 17-9 Jags.
2nd and 8. Brown. First catch in quite some time. Close to the marker. That is his 14th to add to his career best. 14 grabs. The NFL best, if you're wondering. Tom Fears. Remember the old LA Rams?
Oh, yeah, I remember that, Joel.
You were there.
Yeah, I was there. I was in there. Big spirit. But 18 catches, that's unbelievable for one game, and Brown already with 14.
It's the AFC's All-Stars against the NFC's best. In the most fun game of the season, the Pro Bowl.
Terrell Davis and Jerome Bettis in the backfield. Brown and Thigpen of the wideouts, and Shannon Sharp of the champion Broncos at tight end. Baselli of the Jaguars, Brown of the Bills, Dawson of the Steelers, Shields of Kansas City, and Ogden of the Ravens, the interior 5 for the AFC. Each conference names 4 running backs, including 1 pure fullback. So the top 2 backs get the ball, and a little trickery in the seed on the opening play. But Tim Brown is stopped at just about the line of scrimmage, no gain. 3rd down and 13 for the AFC from the 3-yard line. And Brunell, a mirror image in the way of Young throws. Fingertip catch made by Tim Brown up at the 39-yard line. A bright light in an otherwise dismal Raider season. Tim Brown, now the Raiders' all-time leading receiver, a 35-yard pickup.
And again, all the time in the world for Mark Brunell. No way you can have any defensive stunts. A straight 4-man rush. The line can stunt a little bit, but these offensive linemen, they love this kind of blocking. They are not going to be fooled at all. They gave Brunell all the time in the world. Gave Tim Brown plenty of time to get away from his defender, Darrell Green. Completion close to midfield. Yeah, he had focus.
I remember when Mike came into the league as a rookie, playing across from him. Completed pass there to the far sideline. He would stand there, and it was like his feet were on hot coals. It's like he was running the 100-meter dash at the Olympics, but he wasn't going anywhere. Just boom, 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 just that, waiting to explode into somebody trying to block him or a tackler. He was a bundle of energy.
Tim Brown making this catch, but short of the first down as he's knocked out of bounds.
He opened the game with a reverse inside his 5-yard line, so he's not afraid to take the risk for his Pro Bowl.
Now Bledsoe from the 50-yard line, looks to the outside and caught by Tim Brown. He steps out of bounds after an 11-yard gain and a first down at the 39-yard line.
Timmy coming off another great year for the Raiders. Remarkable 10-year career in his 7th Pro Bowl. 6'5", Drew Bledsoe, firing over his own offensive lineman. He's got a real gun.
Under 12 minutes to go in regulation with the NFC up by 10, and Moon falls, and that's caught by Tim Brown. And taken away then by Green, but the play has been whistled dead. And a first down for the AFC.
Well, Warren still has the snap in that arm, fires it as he's backing away from a defensive lineman and gets a lot on it. 6 years in CFL, 10 years at Houston, 3 down in Houston, and at Seattle. Remarkable career.
At the 39-yard line, second and 20 rather, is Warren Moon. Flings it over the middle of the traffic, and it's Tim Brown who comes over the football. Warren is down in front. Hit by Hanks, and then finally pushed out of bounds inside the 10 by Darrell Green.
Well, that's what the AFC needed.
Warren Moon delivering once again.
And again, where did he deliver it? On a pattern to the middle of the football field.
And that's where Tim Brown works so well, too, coming across the middle. Absolutely fearless.
And Merton Hanks once again in a trailing position and takes the great speed of Darrell Green to come all the way across the field and save a touchdown.